Welcome back to New Rockstars. Deadpool and Wolverine is out in theaters, and after spending months, actually years, theorizing what could happen in this movie, it's time for us to feast on humble pie as we return to our New Rockstars tradition of what we got wrong. We got a lot wrong in Deadpool and Wolverine. I'll be the first to admit it, but you know what? No one else who talks about movies and television on the internet has the balls to do this. Why are we still doing this? When you admit defeat, the internet does not appreciate it. They yell at you and use it to dogpile on you. They use your own receipts against you. Yeah. Why are we doing this? Because we care about our credibility with you, and we have to own up to when our theories do not align with reality.
I will add to that and say most of the people that tell you they got their theories right, they have a million that were wrong. No one will ever address the ones they got wrong. They will only bring up the ones they got right. It's like a shopping experience.
100%.
Even the things I got right, I'm like, woo, I got that right. Because I remember, I'm humble, and I remember the 30 things I also got wrong. Yep. This is the sneak peek. This is the best way to also start the sneak peek. But this is the sneak peek, the weekly show on New Rockstars where we look ahead to the future of fandom, and I'm here today as Jessica Clemons with my best friend in the world, Erik Voss.
It's so good to see you again, Jess. We took a week off, but we were in San Diego this time last week, sleep deprived, trying to make sense of all these announcements. And this might be the last time we do one of these remote, because this time next week I will be relocated back to where the New Rockstars office is.
You're gonna be taking up my space, breathing in my blue dungeon air.
I'm gonna have to start showering. Ugh. Oh boy.
Why'd you say after I have to start showering?
Well, I mean, just because it's like the first time you get a car washed after several months and you just see how much grime was on it. That's it's the puddles of grime on the shower floor that I'm not looking forward to having my ankles doused in.
I'm disgusted by you.
Okay, so we promised that we would do this because our most recent sneak peek, we did some predictions or we locked in some final bets for what we thought would happen in Deadpool and Wolverine. So we're gonna revisit that scorecard and we're gonna go through point by point. And we're also gonna talk about some other stuff that over the months we were kind of speculating could happen in Deadpool and Wolverine. And we'll talk about like one or two things that we got right, because I think the stuff we got right was just like weird. Yeah. Like I was like, they actually did that? Okay, so going back through the prediction scorecard, are you ready, Jess?
I think so. I can't remember it. And honestly, it's the best way to go about it.
All right, we're gonna start with a big one. Taylor Swift being in Deadpool.
How's it feel, Erik?
It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. Okay, so last week or 2 weeks ago, my final bet is that yes, Taylor Swift would be involved in some kind of cameo. Jess, you said no physical cameo, but you said that she might appear in the form of like contributing a song to the soundtrack. She is not in the movie, not at all. The closest she came to being in the movie was she posted on social media like shouting out Ryan Reynolds for doing a great job. But let's just like kind of review the timeline. I think everyone started to speculate that Taylor could be involved with the movie back at the Chiefs Jets game back in almost a year ago, where she showed up in the box with Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy and Hugh Jackman. Now, in retrospect, they're just friends and just celebrities kind of hang out with each other.
It also is like a press kind of gimmick, and they were leaning into it hard because in the lie detector test that I saw them do press for Deadpool and Wolverine, Hugh Jackman was like, I didn't want to go. It was a fun experience, but I would never do it again. And I was like, oh, see, you guys were just doing this. You guys got us.
Yeah, I think when it comes to Taylor Swift, I was not as hook, line, and sinker as I was for Mephisto because I was burned by Mephisto. So I learned that like you can't assume, but just there was certain weird things now that we just don't really know what they were doing then. The reference that Taylor Swift made at the end of the Tortured Poets department of Future's Bright Dazzling. I think she was just kind of leaning into people thinking she had these associations without intending them to be like clues for a possible film cameo. I have to apologize to Entertainment Weekly right now because Entertainment Weekly did say about a month before the movie came out, we can confirm exclusively Deadpool and Wolverine will not have Taylor Swift in it. And they were trying to do some expectation management. I think there was someone on the crew who's like, you can't quote me, but I just don't want them to go off the deep end. I don't want the Swifties to be coming after me in a month. And then I doubted that. I was just like, you guys didn't name a source or you didn't reference anyone. Like, it was just, I got all hung up in like the attributions of the article. So I definitely use that to cast blame. But I will say I'm glad in this case that I'm wrong because I love Entertainment Weekly so much. And I like without Entertainment Weekly, I would not have the career I have now, from Jeff Jensen's Lost recaps to Owen Gleiberman and Lisa Schwartzbaum's film reviews. I was just a kid in the suburbs of Jacksonville, Florida. I didn't really have a whole lot of access to the film industry beyond Entertainment Weekly. So I've never been happier to be wrong in this instance when it comes to the Entertainment Weekly of it all. They do great stuff. Please invite us to your Comic-Con party next year because it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I think this movie is better for not having Taylor Swift in it, I will say. I think if you did have Taylor Swift in it, it would just be too much of a celebrity cameo fest. And I actually kind of liked how restrained Deadpool and Wolverine was, focused on the past eras of Fox Marvel films and just kind of narrowed its scope to that. And I think it made it for a better film experience overall.
Yeah, I agree.
She could have done a song for it. Just like Lady Gaga doing a song for Top Gun Maverick. To have a true billion-dollar movie, you gotta have a pop song.
They literally had Madonna.
Oh, but that Like a Prayer was from the 80s.
That's
I'm talking
Madonna.
about, like, you had Billie Eilish record a song for Barbie. You had Lady Gaga do a song for Top Gun Maverick. You should have had Taylor Swift do
They
a song
still
for this movie.
remixed Aqua's version of Barbie Girl for Barbie, though. You gotta have like a crisp, nostalgic thing.
You can have both.
Also, I thought that one song was a Taylor Swift song, and you were like, Jessica, no, it's not. When they're driving in the desert.
With Avril Lavigne?
Was it an Avril Lavigne song?
Yeah. I'm with you.
That's how ignorant I am to pop white female singers. I genuinely thought that was a Taylor Swift song. And Erik looked at me and said, Jessica, no, it's not.
Every white kid who's in middle school in the early aughts, like, just has that seared in our brain, and we can't get it out of our heads. It was just like the song of our freshman year of high school.
Damn. I'll be honest. Same with the Barbie movie. When that Matchbox 20 song came on, I was like, I don't know what this song is. I'm not locked into
bad music.
No, it's not bad. I just only locked into like hip hop and rap and like weird Charlie XCX.
I think it was still interesting to follow the weird things that were happening leading up to this movie with Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds, because there was like an insane marketing effort that was going on where they were benefiting from each other. And as like a cynic of the market forces of the entertainment industry, I love following that. As a predictive force, though, I think we have learned once again, it does not always dictate what will be in a movie or a TV show. I have to own that up. I gotta take the L on this. I'm okay doing that. And I just want everyone to know I've taken so many L's over my career. I am not a meteorologist, clearly. I am someone who like analyzes. I do have theories sometimes, but my theories are often wrong. And that's okay, because I think it's just like the way Jeff Jensen would come up with some insane Lost theories week to week. 90% of them are wrong, and that's okay. I think there's just too many weirdos on the internet who are like, you can't be trusted because your theories are often wrong. It's like, is that how you look at MatPat? Film theorist is like, you're looking at it in terms of accuracy? Mm-hmm. Let's move on to the next one. We questioned, would Lady Deadpool be Ryan Reynolds himself? And both of us said that it was going to be Blake Lively, and we were both right on that.
My girl.
No surprise there.
My girl. My sweet angel. I'm so proud of her. Look at her go.
Yeah. And not only Blake Lively, like I think they have 4 kids, and 3 of them were in the movie.
Yeah, I saw that.
Inez
they have a lot
and
of kids.
Olin and James, I think. I can't remember all their names.
I can't remember their names.
We theorized about the possibility that Cerebro could be in the skull of Ant-Man, of Scott Lang, the giant man. I said yes, Cerebro. You said no, and you were correct. Cerebro was not referenced or mentioned. The movie had nothing to do with Cerebro, and that's another L I gotta take.
It felt like in the skull, even in like the footage, it was more everything from Carmitage. They didn't really get into the design of what was inside the skull at all, but you see like the teacups, the design of the floor, and then I'm still stuck on the fact that she has like Strange's cloak for like a little blanket on the chair.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It looks like I'm 89% sure that is one of his cloaks.
Oh, cool.
Because I kept staring at it and I was like, yep, that looks like it. But it felt like she liked the interior design more of the mystic arts than anything else. She didn't steal anything from like X-Men past stuff. She had like the sling ring. Everything was like Doctor Strange-esque.
But we do know that there was a dead Professor X's, there was Magneto's. And Magneto's helmet was melted down. Oh, so like they were there, but it's just we didn't get confirmation. I'm just curious about the design of it, the triangular patterns where some of it has like gold foil over it. Yeah. And I was just kind of curious what that was all about. Okay, this one's a big one. We were theorizing hard that the Battle of Earth from Avengers Endgame would get revisited. We both said yes to this. Yes. And I think we were both looking at that big portal jump shot. The trailer ends with them slow motion jumping into a portal. And the movie had nothing to do with Avengers Endgame. And this is like, I have to say, I think Reynolds and Levy fumbled some of the expectation management with the marketing of this. You end a trailer with two characters jumping into a big what if portal, and you have to know that you're making a promise that you're going to take them somewhere interesting with that shot. And instead they just go back to their used car lot. And then they go back to their neighborhood, and that set design was just like one of like, it was filled with Easter eggs and it looked fun, but it did look like a backlot set. So it just felt a little disappointing just to go back to that set in the final act of the movie. It didn't have that kind of full circle homecoming feel the way that The Matrix has, where it starts in the hotel, goes full circle, comes back to that same hotel and surprises you.
I guess for me, I was like, they have to race against time. Like Madonna, we only have 5 minutes to save the world. I literally was like, oh, they have to get back. I was like, they have to hurry up. They have to rush. They got to do
Wait
stuff.
a minute. Did you feel a ticking clock there? Because Cassandra Nova didn't even know about the Time Ripper until after they jumped.
I thought it was more about, because they jumped in to save time, but they were going in there to stop the Time Ripper. They were like, we need to stop him from igniting it. So I was like, they need to hurry up because they're going to start it. I didn't think she was going to come jump through after it.
See, I don't think any of them, this is, I think, a flaw with the script. I don't think any of these characters knew about the Time Ripper.
They were racing to the subway to Paradox.
I take it back. Yes, you're right. Because Paradox did tell them about the Time Ripper beforehand. And they were trying to save their universe. Yes, that was obviously the driving factor. I mean, Cassandra Nova didn't know about it until she talked to Pyro. So it's like, what were they? I guess they were in a race against Paradox, but they just didn't know how fast it was going to happen. Mm-hmm. And then so they were kind of just like, they were at the CarMax, and Deadpool takes the time to talk to this family for a little bit, and then kind of goes on foot back to his street. Like,
how's this gonna get there? He just rides a bike now.
Yeah, and then we know that they didn't have Peter's bike because Peter took the bike to catch up with them later. It didn't have the narrative momentum going into the final act that, say, a movie like Avengers Endgame does, or even Deadpool 2. It was such like kind of a comedic plot, and the second act action sequence with Blade and Elektra and Gambit seemed to kind of peak a little too early. And then when they jump through that portal and it doesn't take them anywhere that interesting, I just felt like, oh, because it was just a slow motion and there's this music and they had these looks at each other, and it just didn't really have the kind of like, it didn't stick the landing, I think, on the other side of that jump.
I disagree, but I only disagree because I'm like, that scene of the slow motion to the song that's like, I'll see you again one day, as they're like looking up at them like, bye, I'll never see you again. It just reminded me, once they landed the car shop, I was like, oh yeah, we have another story that we first had to exit. I was like, I forgot the void was its own being. Now you have to fix Paradox. So I was like, rush, go. So I felt that way.
Okay, that's
but
fine.
That was like, that's me. I was like, rush. Did we not see the Battle of Earth? Did we not see it in the TVs? No. There was no ending. Sure, yeah. That's what I was expecting. And I should have maybe clarified that when we did this. I thought we'd see like it on the TV of montage.
And we did. We did. So in that
regard,
we
both got it right.
Yeah, or you got it right. In my opinion, I thought we were going to see them running with everybody.
No, I did not think that at all. That'd be so wild if they splice that in.
I think this shows, and honestly, I think at the end of the day, I know I've been kind of critical right here. I think it makes for a better Deadpool and Wolverine, because what we were theorizing is that Deadpool and Wolverine would be about his arrival into the MCU. Mm-hmm. And what would that look like? And instead, he didn't really enter the MCU other than a scene at Avengers Compound with Happy Hogan and this kind of weird middle ground of the TVA, which is kind of the MCU, but it's also removed from any other timeline. So most of the movie did not take place in the MCU. It took place in 10005 and other universes. And it was more concerned with saying goodbye to the era of X-Men films and, Elektra films and Blade 100%. Films and that sort of thing. And so it would feel like a betrayal of that mission to make it so much about plugging Deadpool into the past MCU history.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah, it also felt like it was more of us being like, this is an introduction to the MCU, when he mentioned it, but this movie was completely just an homage to 20th Century Fox. It was like how Wakanda Forever was the ending of its phase. It was like, yeah, this is just a goodbye package, a farewell package to Chadwick Boseman, more than it is about the MCU. And I was like, this is how I kind of felt about this. I was like, this is just a goodbye to 20th Century Fox more than it is about the MCU. There's just a little MCU shit sprinkled in. But But as an introduction, it's not really an introduction. It's just like, I'm still in my timeline.
I think that's totally fine for what this movie's trying to be. That's why I reject critics who call this a cameo fest. I'm like, it was pretty restrained in its scope overall.
It was also, because like you said earlier, they could have added Taylor Swift, but this was clearly like all the cameos were homages to like farewell. These people didn't really get a goodbye. Like Chris Evans didn't get a goodbye as Johnny Storm. He just got a different job. So it's like, and same with Blade. After Trinity, it was just like goodbye. So this is like their farewell. When we get trilogies, we want to end it. We want to close it up with a ribbon. We don't want it just to disappear.
I like the moment where it was a slow motion jump and they all kind of had a little moment where they looked up and smiled. But the fact that we got Daphne Keane out of there and she's at the end, it did make me wonder, well then why didn't we see epilogues for the other three?
I feel like that should have been the ending credit scene to see them in their universes again, but he wanted to do the farewell to 20th century, which I thought was also great. Seeing Laura again only made me a little less emotional about the goodbye, if that makes sense. I was like, oh, so they're all now back. Yeah, I was like, oh, so they're all back. Also, that's not her. I don't care. That's not her Wolverine. That is not her Wolverine. He doesn't not know her. So you guys are just going to force these people to like love each other, and it's not her Wolverine.
I think the Fast and Furious movies have ruined Hollywood in a specific way of forcing family dinners at the end of every movie.
Oh, yeah, they got to have them. That's
it's like
unity.
She-Hulk had the same bullshit at the end. Like,
it's
I don't
unity,
need to see everyone
damn it.
at a family dinner. The shawarma thing was a tag to Avengers. And it was just like a goofy thing where no one said anything and it wasn't this heartfelt moment of everyone smiling at each other. Like, can we do something different, Hollywood screenwriters, than just bring all the characters together?
What are they
going to
do? Watch a movie? They gotta eat dinner. They have to barbecue, damn it. Actually, we can blame Fast and Furious when it was actually like that, the black film Soul Food. It was probably like all the movies.
Quantumania did the same shit. Quantumania was the birthday party.
That's how you got it. That's how you know there's unity. Sometimes I think they're making fun of it though in the MCU. They're doing it on purpose because they know it irritates people.
No, they're not aware of it. I think they just do it because that's like an ending people will accept. It's an easy ending and it brings all the characters back and it suggests a happy ending. Yeah, there's only so many things you can do to end a movie in. And I don't know. I just want to get back to the days of Some Like It Hot, where the final moments of the film are two people in a boat and not understanding what each other's gender are. And then the final line is, well, nobody's perfect. Dun, 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 dun. And Jack Lemmon's like, oh, fuck, what have I signed up for? Best film ending of all time.
Okay, perfect. I hope one day maybe the Russos will do that for Doomsday.
But hey, if they're modeling this movie off of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, that ends with a family dinner. It's a Thanksgiving dinner with John Candy joined, so I get it. I get the appeal. I'm just being cynical. People are going to think I hated this movie. No, I didn't. I think it was great. I think it's obviously a huge hit. I very much enjoyed it. It gets better with rewatches too, because like you pick up other jokes upon rewatches. I like a movie that ages with a rewatch. Another prediction we made: Toby or Noby? I said yes, we would see Tobey Maguire. You said no.
I said no, and I was right. I mean, we were both right. Wait, you said yes?
I said yes.
You said yes?
I don't know why I said yes.
Why did you say yes?
That seems like a dumb one.
I thought we were both right. No. Slightest mention of Spider-Man was him going.
Yep, that's it. That's all we got. Mm-hmm. Oh, and then when they fought, he did the swipe, uppercut, swipe. That's kind of what Joe Manganiello does to Tobey Maguire.
Look at you go.
Look at me go. We said Ben Affleck. I said, yes, Ben Affleck will be in the movie. You said, no, Ben Affleck.
And we should have assumed when we knew Jennifer Garner was going to be in it. I know that they don't really like each other, but I thought they were amicable. I thought they could still be like in a room together maybe, but that joke in the script makes sense.
I don't know what their relationship is. I think they just kind of made fun of it a little bit.
I think out of everybody that they made fun of, theirs was the most like lukewarm, like to do it too. Because bringing up Hugh Jackman's divorce, that messy divorce, that's crazy. To bring up like anything with Blade, I'm like, that's crazy. But absolutely. Like Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner, they've been broken up for a long time. Their daughter is doing fantastic work fighting for mask mandates. They're fine. Ben Affleck's not fine. He's getting a divorce right now from J-Lo.
We did get a reference, of course, but I don't think that counts. Okay, one thing we both talked about was, will this movie establish how mutant kind will work in the MCU going forward? I said no. Jessica, you said yes.
I did, and they didn't even talk about it. They didn't give two craps that they were mutants. They didn't care at all that they were mutants. They were just like, yeah, the X-Men.
Yeah, in retrospect, I'm wondering what Kevin Feige meant that about like Deadpool and Wolverine being the launch of the mutant era in the MCU. Okay. Because nothing at Comic-Con touched on mutants at all.
All I think it is, which is so insane, because I was talking about this with the Brave New World trailer footage. I was like, I think he only said that because he needs to talk about adamantium. By San Diego Comic-Con, they need to talk about, they're releasing that adamantium was in Tiamat. For sure, 100%.
But that's not mutant enough. That's just
exactly.
a
and
metal.
then we know the rumors that there might be 2 mutants in Thunderbolts. And I was like, okay. So that's what you mean. I thought we were going to get into it, but I think he just was like, we're going to dip a toe and then we'll dip a leg.
We talked about Secret Wars. We theorized, would this set up anything for Secret Wars? I said that we would get a verbal reference to Doctor Doom, but no actual Doom appearance. And you said no Doom appearance at all. We did not get a Doctor Doom appearance, but we know why. It's because they plan to announce this at Comic-Con.
There was a lot of stuff that I think the San Diego Comic-Con announcements kind of did still affect Deadpool Wolverine, or what was going to happen, because they planned this out a long time ago and they knew they were going to come out with this movie the weekend of San Diego Comic-Con. So they're like, we're planning on announcing this now, even though they knew that it was going to be Robert Downey Jr. for a minute.
I think we all assumed that Liefeld's Foot Solutions shop was in the Void, or whatever the setting is. It's in the real world. And I think this is just like a big miss that I had in my trailer analysis. I assumed that that entire set was part of the Void because it looked so backlot set to me.
Yeah, it did, even at the beginning when they're riding the bikes in. It's like, this is a backlot set, right?
Oh, it
Universal
totally
Studio,
is.
Warner Brothers, like Gilmore Girls backlot set. That is
and
what it is.
more than like other movies with lower budgets. Like,
Yeah.
even compare it to Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2. Whenever he's outside, like they closed down part of the freeway to shoot that. But just when Deadpool's walking into he and Blind Owl's apartment in the 2016 film, that looks like a real alley. It looks like kind of a real dirty alley.
I assume it's because they wanted everything practical and they had to destroy it, and they can't really destroy the Warner Brothers backlots.
And I think part of it is they wanted to avoid like set leaks and that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I noticed that they did all the Chris Evans one on a blue screen, but most of the other stuff was actually open in the desert.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, so they did want to hide some things.
The fact that they were able to hide Chris Evans is incredible, because everyone else from that part of the movie leaked, but they hid Chris Evans.
Even people working on the movie, or that does get leaks, they got leaks for a lot of stuff, but not Chris Evans. That was insane.
I gotta hand it to them, because everything else was coming out.
Yeah, everything else. They made sure that Chris Evans one was in a small room of only 8 people. They were like, only the DP and Sean Levy.
But they matched the lighting really well for everything.
Did they record his scene with Cassandra Nova separately then?
In his shot,
he's off screen.
He was separate. He was off to the side. Yeah.
Okay.
But you do see the actress playing Psylocke right behind Chris Evans, and she's like, ooh. But she's not reacting like, bleh. She's reacting like, uh-oh, something happened.
Blood.
And they told me to react.
That makes sense too, because the way he like gestures, he's a great actor, but I noticed like, I was like, he's giving a different like energy than Deadpool and Wolverine are giving. And I was like, oh, this is probably 2 separate days or 2 separate times.
I theorized from our very first trailer breakdown that Vanessa might have like a terminal illness or something like that. And I was very wrong about that. I thought that she might be dying, but no, she and Wade just broke up. And
we thought she was dating Peter. I thought she was dating Peter. I was very adamant about it. I was like, I would love that. And I think I could see it. And then she's dating someone else. She is talking to someone that she works with.
I think we also theorized that we would see a scene where Wolverine goes through the TVA and just slaughters people. And we didn't see that.
Who said that? Who said that?
I would have preferred if the Sparkle portal took them back to the TVA and he just starts going ham.
That would have been insane.
And that's what I was hoping for.
He never actually like got redeemed or anything. He didn't learn anything from going crazy and killing people that were innocent and guilty after the X-Men. He was like, no, I'm still crazy.
Oh, I went back and forth on whether this was the Void from the TVA or just a post-incursion landscape. I don't know if I theorized anything wrong. I think I actually throughout the process was trying to like go back and forth on what it seemed more likely to be. Should we end on what you feel proudest of that you got right?
I want to say one more thing I got wrong, because I did think that there was a theory that I threw out that Wolverine was pruned along with his universe, and that's why they're in the Void. Because I assumed that entire, like, he was just wandering the Void.
Yeah.
He was just wandering it.
I theorized that too. That was my assumption, is that he was already in the Void to begin with. That was wrong.
Completely wrong for me. I was like, oh, they yanked him out of his timeline.
Yep. I theorized that, and I really felt like an idiot for theorizing this. I theorized that Deadpool would take the adamantium out of Wolverine's corpse and weaponize it against the TVA.
And you did, and he did.
And he absolutely, I could not believe that they were actually doing that.
He did for 4 minutes.
He did it for several minutes to bye. I was shocked. I thought, like, I even said that in a video. I'm like, oh, that might actually be Wade's knives that he's throwing at them in this footage. But my first instinct was right. And it was my craziest theory. And that's probably what ended up being right. And I can't believe it.
I genuinely was like, there is a lot of cameos in this, which is not a problem. But I don't think they have room to bring in like Taylor Swift or to bring in Doctor Strange or to bring in any extra people that weren't already. There was still that rumor that even Halle Berry was in it. So I was like, I don't think we can bring in more people. I was like, it has to end with this. I think it's done. We're not going to talk about Doom. I don't think they're even going to mention it. I was like, if they bring up the Fantastic Four, I assumed if they did bring up the Fantastic Four, because we saw the Fantastic car in leaked photos, I was like, they're not there. They're not going to be there. They were either killed or someone took their vehicle.
I think I was probably wrongest for this movie in my theories than I've ever been.
No, dude, I doubt that.
Because I don't normally predict that much. I predicted so much for this movie, and like 90% of it was wrong.
I was wrong on a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy. The only thing I got right in Guardians of the Galaxy was that Lila died. I was like, if anyone dies, it's probably Lila, and then she unfortunately did die. Because also Guardians of the Galaxy involved, like, I was like, oh, the Nova, it's the third movie. I was like, they're definitely going to talk about what happened to that planet that just got destroyed. And they never did.
Well, we thank all of you for still sticking with us. Honestly, theories are something that I'm trying to get better about only doing when like people need some kind of explanation for a very complicated thing. And sometimes the theory can be an answer to that question, but I never just want to force my theories onto you guys because my theories are often wrong. But if you guys have like a question, I have a theory that could be an answer to that question, I'll share that. Next week on New Rockstars, we have our coverage of the finale of House of the Dragon coming tomorrow on the Break Room live stream. You'll be able to see Brandon and Jessica and Zach talking about the finale of House of the Dragon. I believe we'll have my Easter egg breakdown of the episode tomorrow as well. If not, it'll be on Tuesday. And then on Friday will be some coverage of D23. The Break Room will be doing a live stream here on the New Rockstars channel, as we did for San Diego Comic-Con, talking about all the big updates. We'll hear from Marvel Studios, all the stuff that they didn't talk about at San Diego Comic-Con, they'll be talking about here at D23. I'll be there on the floor in the Honda Center in Anaheim, live tweeting this. So, and I'll call into the show afterwards, but you guys are going to be anchoring it from New Rockstars HQ. So everyone tune into that.
I need that Daredevil update. I need those Daredevil updates.
We need an Agatha. We need an
I think it's going to be series. They're going to do all the TV stuff, and you're going to get the Agatha update, and you might get another little teaser for Agatha, like an extended version.
Yeah. What do I want the most? I want a scene from Agatha. I want a trailer for Daredevil Born Again. And I want an explanation of what the fuck that asterisk means in Thunderbolts.
They're not going to answer that. And if they do answer that D23, I'll be so mad. I'll be so mad if for some reason he waited for D23. I want anything for Daredevil. Any update for Daredevil. That's all I want. I love Agatha, and I'm excited for Agatha. I just, deep in my heart, I love Daredevil.
All right, let's end this episode of Sneak Peek with what we're watching.
Can I talk about screener stuff?
Yeah.
I got screeners for Umbrella Academy, the final season. And so I've been watching Umbrella Academy right now, the final season. And it's no spoilers. If you're an Umbrella Academy fan, it is very fun. The way they start the first episode and goes into the second episode, it's so much fun. While I'm watching Umbrella Academy, which is really funny, I'm also rewatching Trailer Park Boys.
Oh, fun.
And Trailer Park Boys is just easy to turn on and laugh at. And it's just funny because Elliot Page is in both. If you watch from like the second season. And I'm like, it's both very Canadian shows. I need to remember that sometimes. Also, my mom refuses to watch House of the Dragon because she's still upset with George R. R. Martin for not finishing his book for Game of Thrones. And she refuses to watch House of the Dragon, but she randomly watched your breakdown. I think of episode like 4 or 5. And she went, I'm going to start it, and I'm not happy about it. And I was like, yeah, I'm so happy. I've been trying to get her on House of the Dragon for so long because she's a big Game of Thrones head. She read all those books. She loved the show up until the last 2 seasons. She just refuses to watch House of the Dragon out of spite. But now she's going to because of the breakdown.
My wife had to stop watching House of the Dragon for the blood and cheese. Like, she was so
it's
upset.
Bad. It's bad.
And she's like, why did they do that? And I'm like, it happens in the book. She's like, why did he write that in the book? I'm like,
because he's a monster person.
I don't know. Yeah, that was tough for a lot of people to get through. We've been watching the Olympics this week.
Oh, well, yeah. So
what are you watching? I know you're watching it too,
what are you watching? Tell me. I need to hear.
We watched the women's all-around gymnastics final, and I'm so proud of our women. They did so good. It was just so impressive just to see the height Simone gets and the speed she has. Like, it's like she's a superhero. It's incredible to watch her do her thing.
And it's not, she makes it look so freaking easy. And she's beating her own records. That's insane.
It's absolutely nuts.
Could you imagine going to the Olympics and being like, whose record did I break? Oh, my own from last year?
I'm so happy for them. They totally deserve that gold. Just knowing how she had to come back from, what happened in Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
She's already is she greatest of all time? I don't know.
I think
enough about the history of gymnastics to make that claim.
For us, 100%. The fact that like you retire before that age and she's still breaking her own records, dude. She's setting the shot. How many gold? She has like 8 for gymnastics, especially for America. Like that. That's GOAT. That's GOAT.
So we've been watching that. We've been watching some beach volleyball. We were watching some tennis, and we were watching some indoor volleyball.
Oh, interesting. Lots of volleyball for you. I don't watch the volleyball at all, unfortunately.
Beach volleyball, I mean, they're both really, really cool. But beach volleyball is like picturesque because it's outside and they set up sand courts right in front of the Eiffel Tower.
Oh, that's cool. I'm not going to watch them swim in the poopy water. Every time I see the poopy water, I'm always like, I can't watch whoever's going to swim in this. This water is made of poop. It is literally created of fecal matter. I don't care how many times their mayor will swim open mouth in that water. It is not safe.
Did you see LeBron in the opening ceremonies? He had, I know it was raining, but he had the poncho and he's like, don't breathe in any of this water.
Don't breathe in that water. Don't breathe in that water. That water was crazy. That's insane. I watched women's rugby. We got bronze. I'm more surprised at how Canada did and got second. I didn't know Canada was going to win silver like that, but New Zealand got gold. And it's like, of course, New Zealand got freaking gold. Oh, yeah, they're rugby players since they were born, dude. That's easy games. Their rugby player straight up grabbed this woman like by the face, turned around. She was already ahead of her. She did not need to turn back and do it, but she did. She was like, just in case. And threw her down and then kept going. I said, nah. I said they were bred to literally play this sport. They know so much. They are so good at this sport. Every single human being in New Zealand can play rugby and be great at it.
We've also been watching the after show with Kenan Thompson and Kevin Hart. And they're just so ridiculous, those two.
Oh my goodness. I forgot. Yeah, everyone's watching the Olympics right now.
All right, we'll leave it there. But I think next time we see us, we'll be in the same space. It's exciting. But everyone, be sure to follow Jessica at Lulu_Clemons. Follow me at EA Voss. Subscribe to all 3 channels in the new Rockstars network. And grab some merch from our merch store, nerdride.shop. We have some amazing Deadpool and Wolverine inspired designs, Captain America 4 designs, Agatha designs. We're going to be rocking that like crazy Halloween season. We're now skewing into the months of the witches. We got a lot of witchcraft ahead of us.
Oh, we're going to bring some crystals into the dungeon.
Oh, there's going to be so many crystals.
So many.
We're going to call up all of our LA crystal friends.
Yes.
It's going to get weird.
It's not me, unfortunately, but it is my mother. She knows something about a crystal or two. I know how to light a Yankee candle.
Have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.